Take this into consideration. When you step outside, you witness the mesmerizing sight of the moon rapidly rising in size as it moves closer to Earth. What would take place in the event that the moon were to collide with Earth is as follows. It is impossible not to notice the sudden change in the tides as the moon gets closer to the Earth. At some point in the future, coastal sediments will be submerged by the ocean. Getting ready for an enthralling excursion into the region of mind-blowing space facts that will be provided to you by your reliable provider of heavenly marvels is something you should keep in mind. Let's explore 15 minutes of mind-blowing space facts. And if you're ready for an awe-inspiring adventure that will test your understanding of the cosmos, then go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up. And let's get started. As a result of the gravitational force exerted by this object, the orbits of our satellites will be significantly altered, leaving them unworkable. Every day, earthquakes and volcanic eruptions will undoubtedly take place. This is a fact that cannot be denied. Additionally, when the moon reaches a distance of only 11,000 miles from the surface of the Earth, it will undergo a catastrophic disintegration as a result of the enormous gravitational forces that are exerted by the Earth. The creation of a beautiful ring system that is very similar to Saturn's will be the result of this incredible event coming to fruition. Any person who is able to persevere through the experience will undoubtedly be enthralled by the dazzling glow of these amazing rings. Every night you will be able to witness a beautiful meteor shower that is composed of moon dust. The idea of witnessing the spectacle of ring in the sky, despite the fact that it may potentially cause widespread destruction, is something that I secretly want to experience, despite the fact that it may sound unpleasant. The Voyager 1 and 2 space probes were sent into orbit by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, in the year 1977. They had the intention of making the most of a once-in-a-lifetime alignment of Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, which occurs only once every 175 years. They have already finished their tour of the solar system and have traveled to all of the outer planets, where they have taken magnificent images and conducted groundbreaking study on the moons of those planets. However, these spacecraft are completely unique in their own right. It is impossible to compare the distance that separates us from them to that of any other thing that was made by mankind. Furthermore, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, took into consideration the potential repercussions that could arise in the event that an extraterrestrial civilization discovered one of these spacecraft, and made the decision to incorporate a one-of-a-kind message within the spacecraft. Depending on how you like to think about it, this is the golden record or the time capsule of the Earth. After all indications of life on Earth have been eliminated, this record might be the only thing that remains to demonstrate that we are still here. The story of our world is told by the use of graphics, music, and scientific analysis. Greetings in nature sounds in hundreds of different languages, as well as the best music from the Earth spanning generations. Over 100 photographs were painstakingly chosen by Carl Sagan and his colleagues in order to effectively show the history of both Earth and humanity, to a great extent. Before I show you this horrific photograph, I want you to take a moment to calm down and take a deep breath. In this genuine photograph, astronaut Bruce McCandless may be seen floating 100 meters away from the space shuttle that had his lifeline severed. In the year 1984, he embarked on a journey to test the capabilities of the space jetpack technology. As a result, he stepped off the ship and launched himself into the skies above the planet. When he was questioned about the mission, he revealed that the only thing that genuinely bothered him was the sudden drop in temperature that occurred the moment he stepped out of the shuttle. He said that this was the only thing that caused him to be concerned. Imagine that you are currently flying through space in total and utter solitude. What if he simply vanished without a trace? There is a real ripple in the fabric of space-time that occurs at the speed of light whenever two black holes collide with one another. The waves condense and enlarge anything that they come into contact with, much like ripples on a lake. These waves must exist in accordance with Einstein's prediction if the theory of general relativity that he developed is accurate. On the other hand, we did not make our initial discovery of one in the year 2015. The experimental apparatus that is utilized by the scientific community is known as the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, or LIGO for short. A laser beam is reflected in both directions by an arm that is 4 kilometers long and has mirrors hanging at its end. With the help of this equipment, they were able to identify a slight variation in the length of each arm as the gravitational wave traveled across the surface of the Earth. When compared to other rovers that were sent into orbit, the Opportunity mission that NASA carried out to Mars was one of the most successful missions that was carried out. You will never speak a final sentence that is more agonizing than the one she has just made, which is going to add insult to injury. Although Opportunity was only supposed to spend 90 days on Mars, she ended up being highly resilient because of her experience there. The remaining time that she was supposed to spend on Mars was only supposed to be 90 days. Through the use of her solar panels, she was able to traverse the surface of Mars in a span of 14 years, covering a distance of more than 28 kilometers as she went. The Opportunity rover, which was fueled by solar energy, sent a distress signal to Earth on a day that was particularly windy and dismal. According to the message, the Opportunity rover was writing, "My battery is low, and it's getting dark." The fact that sunsets on Earth can occasionally take on a stunning red or pink tint is well knowledge. However, what about sunsets on other worlds, such as Mars, where this color is not present? We are pleased to report that our rovers are now able to capture photographs and transmit them to our headquarters. This is a piece of good news. To add insult to injury, here is the result. As can be seen, the sunsets on Mars can have a stunning blue color that is quite gorgeous. As a result of the presence of minute particles on the surface of Mars, blue light is able to permeate the atmosphere with a degree of efficiency that is substantially higher than that of the other colors. This is the reason why blue light is able to penetrate the atmosphere. There is also the possibility that you have noticed that the sun does not appear to be present in these pictures to a significant degree. Mars is physically placed further away from the sun than Earth is at the present time, thus the fact that this is the case should not come as a surprise to anyone. It is unavoidable that one of the brightest stars in the night sky will be involved in an explosion, and it might take place very immediately. Following the occurrence of this event, the sky will take on this aspect. It should come as no surprise that I am referring to Betelgeuse, the red giant star. Betelgeuse is a very small star that exhibits peculiar behavior on occasion, such as varying its brilliance and dimming its brightness, as well as dropping a significant amount of material from its surface. Recent studies have shown that the Betelgeuse plant is currently undergoing carbon core fusion and is drawing close to the end of its life cycle. This is the conclusion that can be drawn from the findings of these studies. Betelgeuse will detonate while you are still alive if this is intended to happen. Do you seriously believe that you can win me over? It will be so bright that it will be visible throughout the day, and when night falls it will cast a shadow on the ground. It is true that Betelgeuse is located 500 light-years away before you make a comment. Under the circumstances, it is possible that it has already burst at this point. Nevertheless, there is no reason to be concerned. This is the case. Although we are currently outside of the danger zone, it could be over if we were 450 light-years closer to Betelgeuse. However, we are not in that danger zone. There is no doubt that black holes are among the most mysterious things in the universe. It is impossible for even light to escape from them because they are gigantic, hefty things that exert a gravitational pull that is so strong. Although it is possible that our galaxy alone contains more than 100 million black holes, it is extremely difficult to identify these black holes unless they are eating anything, as they do not release any electromagnetic radiation. This is because black holes do not generate any electromagnetic radiation. The brilliant accretion disks that are depicted in movies like Interstellar are the result of the development of the supermassive black holes that are located at the center of the vast majority of galaxies. These black holes consume enormous amounts of whatever they come across. The event horizon, which is the final destination of light before it is absorbed by the black hole, is clearly visible despite the fact that the black hole itself is not visible. Now scientists have been able to take photographs of two of them using a telescope that is the size of the Earth. This is despite the fact that they are extremely difficult to identify, and that they are located at an extraordinarily great distance. And that was precisely as you had stated. The telescope that is the size of the entire Earth is required in order to obtain a photograph of any of these persons with any degree of detail. This is the size of the telescope that is required to obtain the photograph. It should come as no surprise that we are unable to build a telescope of this magnitude in spacetime. To put it plainly, that is totally impossible. As a consequence of this, they relied on their creative abilities. It is possible in principle to construct a collection of telescopes that are capable of taking photographs of black holes by utilizing individual telescopes that are dispersed across the entire planet. There were two targets that they intended to concentrate on: the Sagittarius A star that is the supermassive black hole that is located nearest to Earth, as well as the M87 galaxy, which is a galaxy that contains one of the most enormous black holes that has ever been identified by scientific research. With the appearance of a star, the black hole that is at the center of our Milky Way galaxy can be found in the constellation Sagittarius A. In the present moment, the distance between it and Earth is only 26,000 light-years. The alternative world is M87, which is about 53 million light-years away. Would you like me to tell you the extraordinary thing? It was a result that met expectations. It is not computer-generated imagery or any other form of artificial representation. These are photographs of real black holes. Isn't that something that seems insanely ridiculous? By the time the Voyager 1 spacecraft was finally launched into space in the year 1990, it was already well on its way to departing from the solar system and flying beyond the orbit of Neptune. The final snapshot of Earth was taken by her after Carl Sagan was successful in persuading NASA to alter its course of action. In spite of the fact that other people thought it was ridiculous and unnecessary, they went ahead and carried out the activity that they had planned. The Voyager 1 spacecraft obtained this shot at a distance of 4 billion miles from the surface of the planet Earth. The planet Earth was swallowed in its clutches by a splintered beam of light that surrounded and encircled the Earth. While Sagan was referring to this picture in his book, he mentioned that the only area that has been found to be capable of hosting life is the planet Earth. This dot has to be examined once more. This moment has come. This place is home. In fact, we are that. The story I have to tell you about Laika the space dog is one that is quite heartbreaking. Within the context of the space race that took place in 1957, the Soviet Union was willing to do anything in order to achieve victory. Dogs were used as test subjects because no one had any clue how humans would react in zero gravity. As a result, their performance was investigated. It is most possible that Laika, a stray dog who had been living on the streets of Moscow, was thrilled to have found a home that would be hers for life. After implanting sensors to monitor her pulse rate and respiration against her will, the scientists strapped her into the rocket despite the fact that they were aware that they were sending her to her death. The scientists were aware that they were transporting her to her destination. When it was launched into space, Laika was shocked since it was about the size of a washing machine because it was so small. The cabin was called the washing machine. And then there was a heart attack. The interior reached a temperature of 105 degrees Fahrenheit, which is equivalent to 40 degrees Celsius. After barely 6 hours, Laika's heart stopped beating, and she never recovered. Over the course of this planet's history, the length of the day has been steadily increasing. On an annual basis, the moon moves away from the surface of the Earth by a distance of 1.5 inches, which from my point of view is a significant amount. Because of this, the duration of our days is getting longer with each passing year. This is because the rotation of the Earth is a little bit slower than average. Approximately 1.4 billion years ago, a day on Earth consisted of only 18 hours from the beginning to the end of the day. The duration of a day on Earth will be 28 hours in just 1 billion years, which implies that you will have plenty of time to sleep while still having 20 hours to meet your duties. This will be the case during the next billion years. There is a possibility that the core of a galaxy that is 8.5 billion light-years away from any other galaxy could have one of the largest black holes that has ever been detected. It is a very terrifying circumstance that we are in. The Phoenix City, the city in question, even though it is 100 billion times larger than our Sun, the black hole appears to be a star. This is despite the fact that it is quite massive. The size of this specific black hole is so vast that it dwarfs a lot of galaxies. There is a unique black hole that has an event horizon diameter that is 100 times larger than the distance that separates Pluto and the Sun. Even if your spaceship were capable of moving at the speed of light, it would still take you 71 days to complete one full orbit around the black hole. This is because the black hole surrounds the entire universe. The fact that it is still expanding can be considered one of the most unsettling elements. When people tell you that you are a star, they are not joking around either. This is something that you should be aware of. There is a possibility that the oxygen that you breathe originated from the core of a star that was already in the process of dying millions of years ago. All water, including the water that is currently in your glass, may trace its history back to the Big Bang, which is the first point of origin. There is a strong connection between you and the limitless globe through the very atoms that comprise your body. Different ways of looking at the universe are the focus of both physics and astronomy, which are merely different views. The essence of who you truly are is represented by stardust. A heartfelt thank you for being here with us today as we come to the end of our journey at SpaceVerse. Your support is what drives our investigation of the cosmos. Remember to hit the notification bell and subscribe to our channel so that you can continue to explore with us. See you until the next time we cross paths in the cosmos.